Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Well, this is the second installment of our new series, um, The Change is Coming. I think that's what I call it, or perhaps that's what I should call it. Whatever I may call it, this is the second part of our discussion that we started in regards to who we are, how we have become who we have become, and the process of it, and since childhood. And we left it to the point, the last discussion, we left it to the point where we said how we can get back to the connection that we had at birth with the universal energy, with the nature's energy, the connection that we had with the nature naturally. So we continue, we pick up from there, and we continue for this segment of our discussion on focusing on our relationship with the universe, our relationship with the nature, which includes and comes from the relationship between our mind and body coordination, and from there the relationship between our entity as we know it, our life, and the existence and the life and the energy of the universe, which is one and the same and connected. So we want to look at this connection. How are we connected to the nature, to the universe, to the universal energy? Which of course this is used in different countries, originates in different words. I think Chinese call it qi, Japanese call it ki, and all of that in English or any other language or any language means life energy, energy of the universe, energy of the nature. So we carry on, and so we started how we can describe our relationship with the universe. Well, look, if you imagine yourself, in order to understand our connection with the nature, if we imagine ourselves going in front of the ocean and go a few steps in and scoop down and scoop up a bit of the water of the ocean in our hands and bring it up in our hands. So we look at it and say, my water. Well, in our eyes, it's my water, the water in my hands. But in the eyes of the universe, in the eyes of the great ocean, this is part of the great ocean's water in my hand. While I call it my water, but in reality is part of the great ocean's water in my hand. So the same thing with our lives. We have encased somewhat of a energy, qi, ki, life energy, in ourselves, and we say, my life. In my eyes, it's my life. But in the eyes of the great universe is part of the energy of the universe, part of the energy of nature, part of the life of universe in me. So, in fact, what I'm calling my life is continuation, extension of the life of the nature itself, of the universe itself. Well, how else can we continue this discussion? Well, we can look at it this way. What is ki? What is the translation of it? What is its role in us? How can we demonstrate the existence of it, this energy, this life, which we say it's part of universal life, nature's life, in me? How does it work? What does it do for me? How do I know there is something like that in me, like the water of the great ocean? The same analogy. My water or the great ocean's water? My life or universal life? Nature's life in me. So, all right, for that to understand if there is such a thing as energy in me, And if there is a way for me to demonstrate it or to actually discuss it, let's try this. Well, you all know when you wake up in the morning, you're all vigorous. If we are healthy, we are vigorous, and we have lots of energy we want to take on the world. So we get up and go about our things, whether it's our work or our duties or our job or our sports activities, whatever it is, we have that energy that we go on and use it to do whatever it is that we want to accomplish on that day. But funny enough is, even if we don't do anything and just sit on the couch and watch TV, which means we're not really using any part of our energy that we say we have for accomplishing anything that would need energy, right? Obviously now we're just sitting on a couch and watching TV. But funny enough is, even though it doesn't look like we're doing anything physical, at the end of the day, having sat on that couch for so many hours, we feel exhausted. We feel as if something has been depleted from us, which means something has been facilitating our existence, our livelihood, even though we were not in a real active mode. And that facilitation, that using up that energy for our survival, for just being there, existing, has depleted the energy that we had in the morning. We don't have as much of it as we did because we feel a bit depleted, tired in a way. So what is that about then? We didn't use it up for anything obvious. We're just sitting there. So why is it that we feel tired? Well, let's go a little further. So we feel a bit exhausted, even though we didn't do anything. But funny enough, when we, go sleep at night, if not feeling so, energetic, whether we sat on the couch or we went to our work during the day and we did things, we come home. And the first thing we do when we come home, we say, oh, let me take the load off of my feet. And we just sit on the couch, put our feet up. And some of us do that, right? Just to get the point across. So that means we had a certain kind of a physical load on us, and now, like our weight on our body, now we want to rest our body. But why is it that we only think about our body? We rest our body, where we don't say, let me take the load off of my mind. Because most of the challenges in life is mental. Talk about, thinking about economy, our jobs, money I have or not, responsibility for our relationship, responsibility for our kids and children, for your spouse, and things that you have to do. All of that, all these challenges, the bills, the taxes, and all the stuff that you got to deal with, studies, other duties, they're all mental. Most challenges in life are mental. But we never say, let me take the load off of our mind. We always focus on how physically tired we are. And we say, let me take the load off of my feet. So we sit down, put our feet up. And our relaxation is all based on our physical relaxation, which is not exactly relaxation of totality of our body. Because our life as we know it is in two parts. It's not all physical. What we see is not all there is to us. What we see is only one portion of our life. You see, our life comes into a few different fragments. One is our physical body entity, and one is our mind, our energy. It's like we're like the iceberg. If you imagine iceberg in the ocean, there is a portion of the iceberg that is on the surface of the water, can be seen outside of the ocean water. That's the visible portion of the iceberg. It is usually comes in different sizes. Like our bodies, some of us are big, small, different sizes. That's a portion that is visible, like the iceberg. But there is a portion of the iceberg that is underneath the ocean, is not visible. And usually, I don't know, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times bigger than what's visible. But it's not visible. But it's there. It's part of the iceberg, is what it makes the iceberg. What makes the iceberg is not only what's visible to the naked eye. There's a bigger part of it that is hidden. Same thing with us. What we see of ourselves, we think this is me, it's only physical portion. There's a bigger portion, bigger ability, bigger power that we have, which is not visible, like the invisible part of the iceberg. And that is the power of our mind. That is where the energy has this ability to exchange. The frequencies and the connection with the nature's energy. That's not all of that is not visible. So coming back to where we were, we said we came home from work and we say take the load off of our mind, off our feet, and even though if we haven't done anything outside, just sit on the couch and watch TV, we feel exhausted, and we're trying to find out where is the connection between the energy of the universe and nature and us. So at that point, let's now focus on the fact that it's nighttime and we feel a little bit exhausted, whether we went out work or just sat on the couch. We come and go, say goodnight and go sleep. So why is it that we went to bed tired in a way, at least not energetic to do more stuff or go play soccer or tennis, but when we get up in the morning, we're vigorous, ready to go? What happened? What happened between when we were not so energetic, kind of depleted in energy, not feeling like we want to do more activities, and then suddenly we are all charged up? What happened? Something happened while we were sleeping. In that time that we were sleeping, something happened. Perhaps a certain frequency that we could not be aware of it, or we have not trained ourselves to be aware of it while we're awake, but automatically when we sleep, we are synchronized with that frequency and we accept the abundant availability of the charges of the universe, that we accept it, and therefore it fills us up, charges up like the battery. We're charged up in the morning. Like the battery of a toy. That when you have a toy and you put a new battery in it and it moves around, does things, so on, and perfectly worked. You know, I had a little tank when I was a kid and I put the battery in it and plays around until the battery depletes. And nowadays it can be recharged like a special battery. So what happens when it doesn't work, the toy doesn't work anymore? It means the battery has been depleted. And that's pretty much the same as we wake up in the morning, we have energy, we do stuff with it, and then at nighttime we're depleted. And just like the battery, we take it, put it in the charger and plug it to the wall, and it charges it up, and it's ready again to be put back in the toy, and the toy works. Same thing, we sleep, we charge up, and then in the morning we're ready to again do other functions. So that means there is something that is beyond our physical presence, and it's responsible for the energy that we need for this physical entity to do its thing, and that's the energy part, the mind part. Yeah. So when we sleep, we are filled up with this energy of the universe, energy of the nature, and in the morning we are filled up, ready to go. And during the day, we use it, and regardless of what we do, even if we don't do anything, and we're depleted, and again we sleep and we fill up. And that's the connection between our energy and the universe, between us and the universe. We're constantly in contact. If there was no connection between the mighty power of the universe, the energy that is in abundance there, if we could not get that energy at the time of the night when we would be depleted, there would be no more to get. So that toy, us, wouldn't work because the battery wouldn't get charged. But we get charged up automatically. So there is something that is beyond our understanding, and it has its automatic function and fills us up every time we sleep. Now, the key is, how can we do that beyond the sleeping? And not just waiting for the sleeping time to charge our battery, but can we keep this charged up as we use it during the day? That's another training that we should learn, how to actually charge up the energy while we are using it up. Like while we're playing tennis and depleting the energy, physical energy, the energy that we need for our physics to do its job, to run around after the ball, how can we actually replenish it while we're using it? There is a possibility. If we can learn to do what is automatically done while we're sleeping at night, which charges it up from the universal charges, and we are charged up in the morning. If we can learn how to do that similar process while we're awake and while we're doing things, then all the time, all during the day, we have more energy, and we are always pretty much filled up to charge, and we get more enjoyment and alertness of our abilities. And then we're not just waiting for sleeping time to charge up, we can also charge up while we're not sleeping. So if we learn how to do that, sometimes when you feel depleted, you just close your eyes a bit, do a little bit of a meditation, and you charge up, and you're ready to go with more vigor than you would have normally had if you didn't do that technique of learning how to bring more charge to yourself while you're... It's like when you're running for soccer ball, when you're playing soccer, at the same time, you're recharging while you're using whatever you're using, you're the energy to run. As you're using it, you're recharging. That's a pretty good way of looking at it. So that is how connected we are with the universe, which is one and the same with the energy of the nature. So as the universal energy is traveling throughout the universe from one end to the other end in all directions, front and back and right and left and all in between and up and down, all the energy lines flowing from one end of the universe to the other of the universe in all directions, we happen to be there that they all pass through us and then continue their journey. And now if we can learn to affect that energy while it's passing through us in a positive way, we actually facilitate it to actually reach others and touch other things that are alive in this world in a positive way and make a positive difference as this energy is traveling and bringing its abundance to whatever is out there that needs its energy to survive. Now, perhaps this was a beginning of understanding that there is an energy that we are using, and there's a way to learn to promote this energy even while we're not sleeping and use it while we are actually doing our daily affairs, and perhaps that would help us with many things: energy level, health, calmness, dealing with challenges, and to be able to be more alert in whatever it is that we're dealing with. So let's stop for now, and little information that I gave you here to digest it a little bit, and next time we'll go on the third portion of our discussions, and we'll discuss a little bit further on how we can do meditation and how we can bring this energy to us, and then we go from there to talk about the other parts of our being, which completes us as the consciousness that we are: physical, mind, energy, and then what happens and how our consciousness is born and is put together, and its relationship with thoughts, and then we talk about fears, and then we talk about ego and desire and so on, and we complete our series in that way. So until then, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you soon.